Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We'll straight up start with our top story. The price of domestic cooking gas has been hiked by 50 rupees per cylinder today. This is the second increase in 2 months. Now, a 14.2 kg non-subsidized cooking gas cylinder will now cost 999.5 rupees in Delhi. In cities like Chennai, Ludhiana and Patna, the price has crossed 1000 rupees. Now, the last hike in domestic LPG prices took place on the 22nd of March when the price was increased by 50 rupees. In 2 months, the price has now been hiked by 100 rupees. News coming in from Jamshedpur. Now, 3 people have been injured after a fire broke out at Tata Steel Company's coke plant in Jamshedpur today. Tata Steel in a statement has said, and I quote, "Today at around 10:20 a.m., there was a blast in the foul gas line at Battery 6 of coke plant at Jamshedpur Works. Currently, Battery 6 is non-operational and is undergoing a dismantling process," end quote. Now, the injured were contractual employees, the company has said in a statement. They sustained minor injuries and were sent to Tata Main Hospital for treatment. According to reports, the situation is now under control. Meanwhile, in Indore, 7 people have died after a fire broke out in a residential building. According to PTI, a police inspector has said that most of the deaths took place due to asphyxiation, which is death due to suffocation or less oxygen. According to an official, the fire might have started due to a short circuit and it took 3 hours to control it. Also in the news, an update on the Tajinder Bagga row. After Delhi BJP leader Tajinder Bagga was arrested by Punjab police, party workers protested outside Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's house. Now, Tajinder Pal Singh Bagga was arrested from Delhi in connection with making allegedly inflammatory statements to flare up communal enmity. Mr. Bagga has reached his home in Delhi on the intervening night of Friday and Saturday after he was detained by Punjab police in the national capital yesterday. Now, he has been accused of causing instigation, incitement, criminal intimidation to cause violence, use of force and imminent hurt in a predesigned and orchestrated manner by publishing provocative, false and communal inflammatory statements through his interview given to the media and through his posts on Twitter. In the meantime, Mohali court has now issued fresh arrest warrant against him. Meanwhile, in Jodhpur, the curfew that was imposed in 10 areas in Jodhpur after communal clashes in the Jalori Gate area has now been extended till midnight of the 8th of May. Now, students and teachers appearing for examinations, personnel engaged in medical services, bank officials, judicial officers and media personnel, however, are exempt. A communal clash, if you remember, broke out at Jodhpur before Eid, forcing a continued curfew in the city. Now, a total of 211 people have been arrested in connection with the violence and 22 cases have now been registered. Also, an update on the Chennai custodial death case. Now, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has responded. He has said that 3 police personnel have been booked for murder of a 25-year-old man and further inquiry will be initiated against them. Now, on the 18th of April, the Secretariat Colony Police detained Vignesh, the victim, and his friend Suresh, who were travelling in an auto rickshaw, for allegedly possessing marijuana. The police claim that Vignesh attempted to attack them with a knife and that they managed to escape. Now, according to the police statement on the 19th of April, Vignesh was declared dead on arrival when the police took him to a hospital, claiming that he had vomited after eating breakfast and suffered a seizure. However, the victim's family disagrees. The victim's family says and claims that he died as a result of police brutality. In the meantime, the IMD has said a low pressure area that has developed over the South Andaman Sea is likely to intensify into a cyclonic storm and make its way to the Andhra Pradesh Odisha shores early next week. Now, the IMD has warned of thunderstorms and heavy rainfall over the districts of Gangetic, West Bengal between the 10th of May and the 13th of May next week. The Odisha government has kept a disaster response and fire services team on standby as well following this forecast. Now, Odisha has witnessed cyclones in the last 3 summers, one in 2020, and even in 2019. Moving on now to news coming in from across the globe, starting off with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has declared a state of emergency from midnight for the second time in a little over a month to maintain public order. Now, earlier on Friday, protesters tried to storm the country's parliament demanding the president resign. Trade unions have also begun a countrywide strike. There is severe economic crisis in Sri Lanka, facing and in fact forcing people to take to the streets, demanding the president's resignation. They're also facing shortage of fuel and electricity. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, the Taliban has ruled that Afghan women must cover their faces in public, according to a decree from their leader. Now, a Taliban spokesperson has said a woman's father or closest male relative could be imprisoned or fired from government jobs if she did not cover her face outside of the home. Now, women in Afghanistan wear a headscarf for religious reasons, but many in urban areas such as Kabul do not cover their faces. The Taliban have also ruled that women cannot get a driving license and have been prohibited from education and workplaces as well. Meanwhile, it's day 73 of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine is continuing a counter-offensive near the city of Kharkiv and says that it has recaptured 5 villages. In Mariupol, in the meantime, there's some bit of relief. 50 civilians were evacuated from the steel plant where several other civilians are still trapped, and this happened on Friday. Russia, in the meantime, has voted with the other 14 members of the UN Security Council to back a declaration supporting efforts to find a peaceful end to this war. In the meantime, US President Joe Biden has announced a new $150 million package of military aid to Ukraine. And one piece of good news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin, runner Avinash Sable has become the fastest Indian to run 5,000 meters. The 27-year-old achieved the feat by clocking in 13:25:65 at the Sound Running Track Meet in the US. Now, he broke the national record set by Bahadur Prasad in June 1992 at Barcelona Olympics. Sable finished 12th at the meet in the US. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching.